Peter Levitt, the Patriot, resident in Pleasant Valley, P.O. Box 1245, Jacksonville, Alabama. Today I will be speaking about the chosen weapon used by BLM, Antifa, and Marxist gangs to deceive and manipulate in order to fulfill their schemes and agenda in America. Their weapon is America's past history of slavery. As we all know, slavery has been in existence since the fall of mankind. In Bible times, the Hebrews were in bondage to the Egyptians and often were beaten and killed. The Native American cultures of North and South America had slaves before Columbus, and in some cases cannibalized each other, as was the same in Africa. In the 7th century, Islam came to Africa, bringing on the enslavement and selling of many Africans in the name of jihad that still happens today. The Native American tribes of the Caribbean area were brought into slavery by the Spanish. The British, in the mid-1600s, sold hundreds of thousands of Irish slaves to the Caribbean islands and their colonies in North America. The Irish were some of the first slaves to arrive in America. In 1830, the Indian Removal Act forced thousands of Native Americans to move west. The census of the same year recorded that there were many African slaves also owned by freed African slaves on their plantations in the U.S. We also know the Nazi regime and SS troops of World War II, who wore all black, had 23 main concentration camps and 900 subcamps. Also, they had 30,000 slave camps and 500 brothels for sex slaves as well. Recently, many are trying to erase the fact that the Holocaust even happened. Now, the all-in-black crowds are either tearing down or peaceably asking to remove our historic memorials that do not represent the slavery. Peaceably or not, they still wear all black like the Nazi SS, right here in Jacksonville. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 19 says this: "While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage." Yes, slavery is wrong, but it is not unique to America. Yes, it is in the country's history, but we learn from mistakes of times past and focus on the good. That's the thing, though. It is past, meaning that I was not a slave as an Indian or Irishman, though I have this in my blood, in my ancestry. You will not see me ever desecrating graves or memorials, monuments, with vulgarities or saying Irish and Indian lives matter. That would be deemed racist by the left to support a people group merely by what color the pigment of the skin is. What about BLM singling out people at church using the term systemic racism? Is it not hypocritical? The term white privilege is racist by definition in itself, because they have singled out and are dividing people based on their skin color being white. If you're white, the only way to not be deemed a racist in their thinking is to be one of them. A communist, socialist, Marxist, gay, or all the above. I am none of these things. I have never owned a slave, as many today have never been forced to pick cotton in this community. The sum of it all is that people have the knowledge of good and evil. Which will you choose? Does slavery still exist here today? Yes, it does. Now we just call it human trafficking. Where is the zeal to put an end to this vile practice of using children as sex slaves? What about college debt? Doesn't it enslave as well? Evil has always and will lie in the heart of the one who chooses evil, not the color of the skin. Samuel Adams, one of our founding fathers, said, "The sum of all is, if we most truly enjoy the gift of heaven, let us become a virtuous people. Then shall we both deserve and enjoy it. While on the other hand, if we are universally vicious and debauched in our manners, though the form of our Constitution carries the most exalted freedom, we shall in reality be the most abject slaves." Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
spoke to you many times before, just trying to approach in different ways how this war memorial impacts everybody who drives around the square every day. And as someone who's been born and raised here and have multiple generations here, I think I'm someone that can talk about this reasonably. Unfortunately, we're not talking about COVID tonight, a real life or death question that we are all impacted by. We're talking about a war memorial that's been staying in the square for 111 years. So I'm just wondering, why now? Why now are we suddenly all racist? And I'm just so glad that other people came from other parts of the state or other states to come here and tell us that we were racist. And the only way we have any kind of retribution is to tear down our memorials to our ancestors. If the war between the states was about slavery, I mean, it's about economics, and if slavery was economics. But if it was just about slavery, I would not stand here and defend a monument to it. I would not. But history books were written by the victors, and to this day, it's always some guy in a trailer park that gets interviewed on TV when the tornado comes through. It's and painting Southerners with a very broad brush that we're racist. First of all, judging people is not your job. Judge not, and you shall not be judged. I mean, if we're judging people of different generations in the past, I guess the next thing we're going to start stoning women for wearing pants. And the pharaohs had slaves. I guess we need to go destroy the pyramids too. That's what kind of crazy thinking concept that these people have. It's and who actually owns history? I mean, do I own your history? If you own my history, or is those monuments for collective history? Who really owns that? And does anyone have the right to destroy it? I know it's already been desecrated on the square, and monuments have been desecrated in the cemetery, and destruction done in the cemetery, setting fire, and that's what kind of people we have saying that that's what we should be doing. And I'm telling you, as a retired cop, that is absolutely not what we need. Anarchists and socialists and Marxists trying to, everything's political correctness, where everybody gets arrested, everybody gets upset and offended by every little thing. I'm offended. And that monument was put up by the bereaved families of Jacksonville, Alabama soldiers who left their wives and children and never came home. Thank you.
Thank you.